Alright, are we live? Who's there? Anybody home? Yay first, that's patience. Alright, are we live? Who's there? Anybody home? Yay first, that's patience. Alright, are we live? Who's there? Anybody? Okay, I need to know if you guys are there. If you're there, let me know you're there. I need to know that you can hear my sound. I need to know you can see my visuals. Tonight, you will remember tonight. Oh boy. Let's take a look here. I'm so sorry we're starting late. It was way beyond my control. I'm having a bit of technical glitches. Are we good? Okay. What we got? Let's see if I can monitor this from my iPad. Okay, so wow, right, we're on a... Okay, so you're ready to get started? Ready? Okay, so here's what's happening tonight, okay? Let me put some background to this. One of the most important things I try to do with these episodes is to try and give you an idea of the side of the country you don't always get to see. A side I think I have had the privilege of having a lens to that most people might not have had a lens to before. So that's what I want to do. I'm here. I guess video is freezing, someone says. Okay, that's not good. Okay. Is everything okay, guys? Can you see me? Can I get some confirmations? Can I get some confirmations, guys? Is the visual good? Is the audio good? Anybody? I should speak up so you can hear me. Good. All right. So, Zimbabwe is run and organized by groups of cartels. Can you guys share the video too? Share so that people can participate. People can get to see what you see. So come on, guys. If you're watching, share it. Press this little button that says share, because we want everybody to come and get involved in the conversation. Zimbabwe is run by organizations of cartels. And here is how the cartels work. In fact, let me talk about what the cartels are. So the cartels are responsible for the food we eat. They determine the price we pay for food. There is cartels that are responsible for the price of bread. There's cartels responsible for the diamonds, for the gold, for the money that is in the banks. There's cartels that are running the financial sector. There's cartels that are running politics. There's also racial cartels. So there is white cartels that control how white Zimbabwe does business. There's Indian cartels. There's Jewish cartels. There's Lebanese cartels. We're going to be touching on a lot of those. Today, particularly, I want to talk about one particular cartel which I think is starting to affect people's lives directly, and that's the fuel industry cartels. These are the men and women who control how fuel comes into the country, how fuel is distributed in the country, and most importantly, the price of fuel. We'll talk about that. But we can't have a show and not talk about the politics, right? So we're going to talk about what's happening with the Vice President Emmerson Mnangagwa. Everyone has been talking about what happened at the last rally. The president got up, went left. The president's wife got up, went right. The vice president sat down right in the middle. It was almost as if, forget it being a youth interface anymore. What these rallies have become is a disciplinary process for Mnangagwa. He goes there to get a disciplinary. So at every point, he's getting a disciplinary whoop ass. We are going to talk about that. So, the fuel cartels, how do they work? So there are, what's happening? Anzi, video freezing. So the video still freezing? Okay, apparently everything's fine. Right, okay. So here's how the fuel cartels work. And I'm going to open it up for you guys to come in a minute so we can, whoever wants to call in, whoever wants to participate. Take note of this name. Write it down. Google it when you've got some time. It will teach you a lot about how the fuel game works in Africa today, but in the world at large. Mark Rich. That's M-A-R-C. Rich is R-I-C-H. He's captured in, if you read the book, The King of Oil, this is the godfather of the fuel industry. Very involved in American politics, Jewish boy who pretty much controls how the fuel game, I believe, still works up to today. Zimbabwe has 5 key fuel cartel players. Now, these 5 are, you have Zua, which is former BP, you have Total, you have Engine, you have Puma, and you have which one am I leaving out? Okay, so Puma, which is now pretty much taken over Secunda, which I was going to mention as the 5th. But let's say then you got the smaller guys, which is your Maps, your Glow Petroleum, your Mashwedi. That's number 5. Let me tell you who these people are, because a lot of people don't know who is behind these people. Let's begin with Zua. So what happened with the Zua is when BP used to be operational in Zimbabwe, that's British Petroleum. It was a British company. Pretty much the British were the ones making money from there. When the British were doing a sale, the British went on to do some sort of indigenization sale with the sort to a contingent, or rather a conglomerate of black individuals who were not able to sustain the deal. Anyway, a white boy, Billy Rottenberg, then came in. Billy Rottenberg pretty much brought up the whole company, and then FBC is owned by the same people who now own Zua, but behind both of them, the real godfather is a company called Glencore. Glencore owns Zua. Now, Glencore also happens to own a company called Strauss Logistics in Zimbabwe. Glencore and Strauss are the biggest logistics company in the world. Okay? In the world. Go on Google, look for it, it'll tell you. Now, Glencore Zimbabwe is, so Glencore is actually listed on the London Stock Exchange, but Glencore Zimbabwe is run by perhaps one of the biggest players and king of the Indian cartels in Zimbabwe, which is the Rish family. Some of you might know Hina, some of you might know Hina's brother, but it's an Indian family that pretty much runs Glencore in Zimbabwe. Now, these are very Mnangagwa people. For those who don't know, they are based in their origins rather is from the Midlands area. They've really pumped up Mnangagwa when Mnangagwa was coming up in the ranks. They're still very close to him, and that's the one cartel, Glencore. Now, if you then trace back Glencore to who actually owns Glencore worldwide, you come back to the name I told you to look for, which is Mark Rich. So you got cartel player number 1, Glencore. It's playing through the arm of Strauss, which does the logistics, and Zua. Very important to note about Glencore is, unlike all the other companies I'm going to talk about, Glencore is the only company that actually mines its own fuel. They don't need to go through somebody else for them to get fuel. They don't need to go to Mozambique. They don't need to go to South Africa. So they're not at the mercy of the pipeline cycle that brings fuel into the country. They own their own fuel. They can literally today decide, we're drilling fuel, we're bringing the fuel out, fuel is in the market. That's number 1. Let me just take a look at some of your comments. Okay, Mwaimu teacher. Oh, hi Ephesians, good to see you. Yeah. Right. Okay. Sorry. Oh yeah, I can see you guys. See a hand. Call it the third hand. For those who know the third hand, they know exactly whose hand that is. That's the third hand. So don't forget the people who were affected by Zua as well when the whole saga, Zua came about. We might get into detail on that very soon. But I just want to check up on your comments, and I'm going to come back at you. So don't say hi to some people because I might not get a chance to do it because the comments keep on coming in. So shout out to Tawanda. Shouts out to who else we got? We got Lisa is in the building. We got Paul in the building. I see Mickey, the American ambassador's wife, is in the building. Shouts out to her. King Damson. A lot of beautiful people. I mean, a lot of beautiful people I know personally. Some who I've never met. Rumbi. How's the UZ? I hope you guys are studying well. Shouts out to one of the, I guess, definitely the most beautiful girls I know. Shouts out to one of the smartest people I know. Also here with Tendo. Okay, it looks like it's live. Nomatemba, one of the most fantastic friends I've got, big sister of mine, shouts out to you. Okay, so we've dealt with Glencore. Let's move to the second cartel. Now, Engine, as many of you know, Engine is in many parts of the world. Again, when the indigenization deal took place, Engine came the Chingwena family. The Chingwena family is the family that owns Croco Motors. When we talk about the car cartels who sell cars in Zimbabwe, we'll learn a lot about the Chingwena family. But as for today, the Chingwena family came in and did a deal that they wanted to buy Engine, the fuel company. Anyway, so they came in and they were kind of pretty much played up as a front, but the real power behind Engine, the real heads of that cartel, is the Malaysian government. So it's the Malaysian government that pretty much owns everything to do with Engine in Zimbabwe. That's Malaysian money right there. So you put Engine to the side. Let's move to the next company, which is Total. Total is currently led by a very, very smart Nigerian man in the country who's in Zimbabwe right now. I don't want to have to say his name because he happens to be somebody I know well, but Total is maybe the biggest, actually. Total might be the biggest or the second biggest of the cartels, but Total is French, so everything Total does has to go through Paris. It is controlled in Paris, it is run by Paris. Total is French money invested in Zimbabwe. They operate the cartel from France. I'm going to tell you how all this links up very soon. By the way, so the Engine family is not Ngwena people. Really, they were actually Mayamujuru people. They could still be very much Mayamujuru people. As you all know, the Chingwenas are very involved, or were very involved with Mayamujuru. I don't know where they stand now, but they were very involved in putting money into Mayamujuru because of their provincial networks. When I break down Mayamajuru's wealth in another episode, we'll talk about this. So that money is in the direction of Mayamujuru, if anybody else. Now, the third cartel, the French. The French now just want to do business. So the French will do business with whoever is most friendly to their business. Currently, they like doing business with Grace. They like doing business with Mnangagwa. They like to do business. So they'll do business with whoever wants to do business with them. The big one that you guys now, I want to talk to you about, which, now, man, if you want to know power plays, people who are really making serious power plays in Zimbabwe, you've got, actually, before I talk about them, I forgot. So the fifth one, when I said the smaller ones, I really wanted to talk about Trek. So Trek was a really kind of young, not really young, but white boys who came up and they said, we're going to get into fuel. Trek started doing really well. They had 10 service stations within no time. And then government came in and government took over Trek. Trek was taken over by a government agency called Noxem. Noxem took over Trek. When Noxem took over Trek, it became a government company. So right now, as we speak, Trek is owned by government through Noxem. And Noxem goes right up to the government regulatory body of the fuel industry. I believe it's called NERA. I'll get back to you. That it will come back to my head just now. But government is regulating the price of fuel right now. I'll tell you what's going to happen with the price in a minute, but I want you to get familiar with the players. So you got Noxem, which owns Trek. It also owns all the CMED fuel companies. Then you have the big one. Now, this player here is like nothing you've ever seen before. You want to remember this name, Trafigura. Trafigura is the company that owns Puma. Now, Puma is pretty much a diesel pipeline or a diesel network, fuel network, that stretches all the way from Mozambique right through the Southern African region into Central Africa. Does a lot of massive business in the Congo. And they're the ones who, do you remember when we had Wedzera, we used to have Palm Oil, we used to have Secunda? All of that was pretty much bought up by one big player, Trafigura, using the vehicle Puma. The face of Trafigura, the face of Puma, is a guy called Kuda Tagwire. This is a name again, you want to remember this name, Kudakwashe Tagwire. Now, this guy is incredible because he is very good at playing both sides. A lot of people know him as a nephew to Grace, and they believe that's where the money That's who he's making money from. But I can tell you authoritatively, he's also very friendly with the croc. And he's putting in a lot of money into the croc. But more important than that, remember when Command Agriculture happened? This is the guy who took what's known as treasury bills. He got his treasury bills and used his treasury bills to bankroll Command Agriculture. Traffic Gura in Zimbabwe has pretty much put about $400 million into lending the government money through very strange ways, but let's just call them a ZANU-PF big proponent. Anybody who's ever tried to do business with Puma will tell you Puma is run by means of a cartel organized, whose faces Kudakwashi Tabire, and the godfather is Traffic Gura. The disappointing part about all the companies I've just mentioned is at one point, if you remember 2008, we ran out of fuel in the country. Black boys and black girls started their own small companies that were dealing with this problem, with Eric Nodza, with Zera, with Xavier Kasukwere, with Cornwell, with the Sakunda boys, with the chain of people. All of them have been now taken out of business. So the black boys and black girls have now been taken out of business, replaced by big multinational cartels that are still sponsoring politics, but ultimately they're all feeding into ZANU-PF. So when I say to people ZANU-PF is actually a terrorist organization, what I'm referring to is there is people who are putting money to make this terror happen. These are the players who are making all the terror happen. Now, if you have tried to get fuel in the last couple of days, you've learned three things. The first thing you'd have learned is now you can no longer pay for fuel using EcoCash. The second thing you'd have learned is the fuel price is going high, but it's not going beyond the threshold of $1.33 if it's petrol, and it's not going beyond $1.21 if it's diesel. This is going to change very soon. That's the second thing you'd have learned. The third thing you would have learned if you've been trying to get fuel lately is it's just simply not available. Now, why is this? We'll deal with the EcoCash. The reason they won't accept EcoCash anymore is EcoCash is very difficult for them to do an external payment with. Because the thing with fuel is you can't have to pay somebody outside, so we don't do the fuel ourselves. You have to pay someone out of the country to bring the fuel in. So if you can't money in EcoCash, you can't EcoCash it out. So it's no good to anybody. The second thing with the pricing is government is regulating how much people can be charged for fuel. So you're actually paying a fake price at the moment. This is not the real cost of fuel. You're paying a fake price that government is regulating. At some point, boom, it's going to change, and voila, fuel prices are going to go crazy, combis are going to go crazy, bread prices are going to go crazy, everything is going to go crazy because fuel happens to control the price of a lot of things in the country. The third thing of the fuel simply not being available is the way cartels work, whether it's drugs, whether it's pharmaceuticals, whether it's food, whether it's money cartels, is in order for them to control the price, they hold back, price goes up, they come back, price goes high. The reason they have to hold out on the fuel is, number one, they can't really buy it. Number two is in order for you to buy it, the Reserve Bank now determines who gets money first, who gets money second. So the financial cartel is now involved. We'll deal with that in another episode. But thirdly, they're about to hit you in the back. So when someone is about to hit you in the back, they're going to do a dance to you. If they just told you that I'm about jaza, no jaza, wakaona saka ndikuda kujaza majazi rwangu raukuita ndinokubaiza wanatopinda pa on your marks wapa on your marks papachi ndochikujaza. So we are preparing ourselves for kujazwa nemafuel cartels. How does this all relate to the politics of the country? I'm going to talk about that in a second. Let me shout out to some people who are saying hi. I've got Auntie Kuda, you not around, okay. I've got Adam says Total Mines Oil in Nigeria. Yeah, they do. In fact, like I said, the CEO here is Nigerian, but the company is it's French company headquartered in Paris. I've got a comment here that says, I'm struggling with my comments. Sorry guys, okay, so I've got a comment that says Glencore is an Anglo-Swiss company. Glencore actually stands for Global Energy Commodity Resources. Its head office is in Switzerland, registered in Jersey. Okay. I've got Adam says wrong. It comes from DRC. I don't know what you're saying comes from DRC. So where do you fit in all this? Okay, Traffic Guru. All right. Anyway, comments are coming in. Maybe we'll do comments ultimately at the end. So how does this fit into the politics? Let me walk you through the survival politics that's happening in the country right now. There is two things taking place in ZANU-PF. Number one is Emerson Mnangagwa pretty much has influence over all states. So if you want to talk about state capture, our version of state capture in Zimbabwe, the person who's got his good grip on whether it's a state institution, state apparatus, is ED. Now, if you want to talk about who's got influence over the executive, so imagine Zimbabwe was a body. The head has been captured by G40. The body has been captured by Lacoste. This is not a game. This is really happening. So G40 has captured the presidency. Lacoste has captured the state. And it's now a battle of who gets to influence the other. Does the body move into the head, or does the head take over the body? That's really what the fight is about. If you listen to the diction and the tone in these interfaces, you will really hear what's happening here. Mnangagwa has been put in a corner. And in this corner that he's in, he's trying to survive. So he's getting punch. He's trying to survive. Punch. He's trying to survive. What's keeping him strong is he's the body. So the hands, the feet are all holding him up. The Russians, the Chinese have pretty much all endorsed him. And he's trying to hold his body up. But the head keeps punching. Now, everyone who has come out and said, Tirano Mnangagwa, so you had Energy Mtodi who came out and said, Tirano Mnangagwa, Gongwe came out, Tirano Mnangagwa, all ZANU-PF provincial chairmen, and Tsenengam, and Chris Muchangwa, they all came out at one point and said, Tirano Mnangagwa. And guess what the head did to that part of the body? The head simply got a big chop. Vese vakarikitwa, vakadona pasi. Because Mnangagwa is unable to defend any of his people. So everybody gets punched. He can't defend them because the notion of trying to defend them is him admitting that ndakapesana nemsoro atikufamba pamwe chete. So what's going to happen is the head is going to keep beating, and it's a question of how much can they beat in his team before he either reacts or he dies. One of two things. He's either going to react and survive, or they're going to hit him. I can tell you this because I was there when Maya Mujuru got hit. I was part of the squad responsible for getting rid of Maya Mujuru from ZANU-PF. Maya Mujuru was of the opinion that Mugabe vachapindira, Mugabe vondibatsira, then kana vandibatsira Mugabe ndasurvivor. Mugabe wambosiye ndichidona. Guys, Mugabe is interested in one thing only: survival. It's now a survival game. Mugabe wants to survive. The queen is whispering in his ear that ndisireni ni chunu chite changu pasina izvozvo haana basa nezvimwe zvese zviri kuitika uko. So he is worried about his survival. So as he gets on these stages, the only stage he gets to play to the public, so the public falls in love with him, is these interfaces. Now, because he is the main actor of the interfaces, he owns the narrative. ED can't own the narrative, so when they get to these interfaces, ED kubagurwa chete. Now, with that being said, ED has a lot of muscle. The reason I was telling you about the fuel cartels today is by and large, most of them have endorsed ED as the future of the country. They've pretty much endorsed ED as the next president of the country. They would really like ED to take over the country because whether you and me like it or not, ED is good for business. The man is good for business. Why is he good for business? Not that he's a great businessman. He is good for business because varikuona unge ndiye achine makore ekuti anogona kutoka longevity ekuti vakaisa cash dzavo cash hadzinyure, but he also provides very good what can I call it, consistency or kusachinja zvinhu. Trouble is pakapinda opposition ichapinda ichirivhesa zvinhu zvese zvakaitika izvi. Madhiri ese anga ari pasi ana Bhili akubuda pachena, madhiri ana Zuva, madhiri ana Sakunda, zvese zvichabvanganyuka zvoputika because vanhu vanenge vada kuzvirivhesa. So business can't afford to do that, so they'd rather support ED because ED is good for business. Now, Grace, on the other hand, is terrible for business. Terrible for business. Because anogona kumuka ari kuleft, anogona kumuka ari kuright. Kana naona guys, dai makamsiya achita zvekushopa, achienda kuSingapore, achienda kunoshopa kuChina, pamukazotoda kumupa inonzi power. Yezvokazvamanazo. So ED is good for business, and the fuel industry is currently supporting him. But ED has got to survive, because if he doesn't survive, he doesn't just go down by himself. He goes down with many other people. So it's all a game of survival right now. That's the lesson on fuel cartels and currently how they're involved with the croc. Let me take some comments and we wrap up in a minute. Adam says, Buddha bang, Buddha bing. Okay. Prince says, I don't even ultimately Mugabe. Michael Jones says, Liverpool is an embarrassment. Okay, I don't know what that's about. Joe says, you're the man. Who else we got? I'm really struggling with the comments. Okay, maybe let me. Sorry, guys. Let me get the comments from here instead. Tawanda Janje says you're good. Owen says everything is good. Okay. Any other comments, guys? Questions or anything? Cynthia says learning. Thank you, Acie. Cynthia, so I know you're very involved in the fashion game and in the clothing business and selling clothes. I'll tell you cartels who are controlling the price you're paying for tax, why it's difficult for you to bring in those goods, and sometimes why it's easy. I'll tell you the cartels who are actually making more money from you than you are making from your own business in another episode. I've got here, Marvin says, seems like Zanu is currently a bad investment country. Zim is currently a bad investment country. Malcolm says, do you think ED will survive? What is your personal opinion? Here's my personal opinion. ED will survive if he fights back. If ED doesn't fight back, mark my words, in December, Grace Mugabe is going to be vice president of Zimbabwe. Mark my words. Remember, Lumumba said it in December 2017. Grace Mugabe is going to be vice president of Zimbabwe. And then after that, she could possibly be president of Zimbabwe. We all know I'm going to do a disclaimer at the end of this that says I was just joking, so that I don't get myself arrested. Maita says, Lumumba. Chipo says, coup. Well, so a coup d'etat is when pretty much you overtake a government by military means. Could we be looking at a potential coup d'etat? And this would far, so I ain't going to talk about that. But what I will tell you is, Singapore, China, if in a very hypothetical world, okay, this is a hypothetical statement. Ndiri zvangu ndaingotaura kumana kana ndangopinza foni mapilot kwamuri ikoko ndinzi wokunzi masumuka gara ikoko ndegeyo haisi kudzoka ndodongera paredio ndorotida kutomhanya chunu. Guys, like I said, handisi kuti ndochichaitika ngotaura dai kundinyora bhuku ndobhuku randainyora. Victor says health cartel. Of course, there's a health cartel which runs the insurance companies, which runs the drug companies, which runs the hospitals. We'll talk about that in another episode. That's not for today. Princess Grace Mugabe's ascendancy marks the end of ZANU-PF pretty much. Sharp Gary, Maita says, hell no. France says, Lumumba, don't delete your video after me. Okay. Tapio says, where does the whole situation leave people with disabilities? Lokadia says, Naiva no Vashe, Diani Varkuda. Okay. Paida says, if Grace becomes president, we are doomed. There is two things you must constantly keep on the top of your minds. One is the politics is going to reach a stalemate. The economy is going to reach a stalemate. There are two things at contest here, running after each other and against each other. The economy is going to collapse. The politics is going to collapse. The question becomes, which one is going to collapse first? And whichever one collapses first has got serious implications on the other. So, if the politics collapses first, it's got serious implications on the economy. If the economy collapses first, it's got serious implications on the politics. Now, the hope is that the politics crumbles before the economy, because if the economy crumbles, ZANU-PF loses in the next election. They can't beat the trouble of the economy. But if the politics falls apart first, ZANU-PF wins in the next election because the politics are falling apart, but whoever has won that fight gets to manipulate how the economy recovers or how the election result comes out. Anyway, guys, I never like these things to last too long. I hope I've read as many comments as I can. Let me do shout outs. If you got questions, ask them now, because I want to be able to wrap up so that it's not too long. Okay, that's what we're gonna do. Let's take questions. I've got here. Lokadi says, I hope Andisina Ziva, my candidates. Mandy says, Sean is an industry group of 776 company. Okay. Fran says, Grace will never be vice president. Never. Fran, I am willing to put a bet on you, brother, a bet with you right now. Grace Mugabe is going to be vice president of Zimbabwe. I put my whole career on that. And I never got it wrong, not one day. Do I think Chiwenga will back ED? Chiwenga already backs ED. Mike Dillon says, but they're currently winning despite the economy. No, the economy, see, right now the economy is magic. Economy. So you can still walk into a shop and you can still buy things. You can still go to a fuel station and you can still wait in a fuel. But we are going to eat. That's why I said it depends which one crumbles first. Both are going to crumble. Don't worry. Both are going to crumble. Because what the two of them can't beat is the truth of time. So time is an usher to both of their demise. So both will crumble. It's just a question of which one will crumble first. Comment on bond notes. Look, and I'll make another bet with you. By December, we won't have bond notes anymore. At least by February, we definitely won't have bond notes anymore. What's going to happen is the Zim dollar is going to come back. Because if you had $1,000 2 weeks ago, $1,000 2 weeks ago was worth $1,200 on the street in your account. If you have $1,200 today, if you hadn't done anything, all of a sudden your money, your money has gone from losing $200 value to losing $400 value. So for you to get that $1,000 out of the bank, you need $1,400 today. Anyone with money in the bank, you're a loser. Civil servants this year will get their bonuses. Government will make civil servants very happy by giving them bonuses. But what they're actually doing is they're giving you money that's worth nothing. Because once you have the money and it's in your bank, so even if you have $5,000, try to get the $5,000 out, it's going to cost a lot of money. Within the space of 1 year, the bond note has lost value of 40%. What do you think is going to happen after another year? The governor knows this. The people who own the financial cartels know this. So what they're going to do to mitigate the problem is we're going to go back to 2008, wipe everybody out, go back to Zim dollar, because at least with the Zim dollar, you can control, I don't even know if you can control anything with the Zim dollar, but it's a new currency which is not a bond note, still backed by nothing. It's still a disaster. The economy is still going to crash, but it saves us from the bond note, or rather from the situation where we have money costing 40% more to saves us from having a situation where the money now costs 80% to going back to zero. So the only way to normalize is to actually have a Zim dollar. And that's going to come by February next year to be here. Francis, Vice President, year 7, student, no. Tine says, where are you getting your facts from? Commander Blancata, Abdullah Ablancata. Herbert says, where does Parents Shiri stand in all this fiasco? Marvin says, Mangujga must be arrested for putting the country at risk. Mike Dillon says, whose speculation did you want him to base it on, Tine? Yeah, guys, look, I wish what I was saying wasn't true, but everything I'm telling you is absolute doctrine. Mark my words, fuel is going to go missing. Remember, the hole in the economy is $5 billion. John Mangujga put $200 million to try and close the gap. Like I said from the beginning when I told you about bond notes were always a good thing as far as the bandage was concerned. The bandage worked, $200 million worked. But again, after a while, now they need to put a new bandage. They're putting $300 million more into the market. It's going to do the same thing. It's going to Vara Chironda, but the hole is too big. It's $5 billion. So unless they can work a wand and $5 billion appears, it is not going to happen. We are in a lot of economic trouble. It's just a question of which one collapses first. So if you are a smart person, here's my advice. If you're a smart person, if you have money in the bank, get it out of the bank even at that 40%. Get it out of the bank, have it in currency. Send that money somewhere, buy assets, buy a car, buy stocks. Look at what the big companies are doing because they don't want the money in the bank, because they know when the money is in the bank, it is worth nothing. Do not keep your money in the bank. That is dangerous. So get the money out, have something you can hold, because any day now, the lights are going to switch off and there is going to be no more money in the bank. Even if you talk about a bond, account. Marine account is worth nothing. It is worth zero. You think it's worth something because my numbers, but those numbers are lying to you because the money does not really exist. Friends, family, lovers, haters, enemies. It has been emotional. I've got to go. Until next time on Friday, we'll do a light one. Wednesday is always the big one. But I need you to write to me. Tell me which cartels you want to hear about next. Tell me which issue you're really curious about so we can maybe touch on that next. But that's the show for the day. I hope you learned something that you didn't know, because that's my hope with these shows, that every episode you learn something today that you didn't know yesterday. Also, so by the way, very important disclaimer. I was just joking, because when I get caught by the police, they're going to say all sorts of things that they're going to want to allege me of. So I'm joking. Mafanis muzerere kuseka tungotandadzana sose vanhu vari paintaneti mafanisi epaintaneti handiti here. Hold on a second. Right. So verify your facts through Google, and I'm no Googler. Like I said, the things you should Google Traffic Guru, Google Mark Rich, Google Glencore. Google those things, guys. Panashe Boni just came in, says magic. Porsche just said, do you think ED will resign? ED would never resign. He's not going to do something that foolish. Nobody leaves power, guys. I mean, are you crazy? But yeah, tell me what cartels you want to know next. In fact, next week I've got a very special one. Next week I'm talking about the white ghosts of Zimbabwe. There is a whole community in Zimbabwe of white Zimbabweans who are running things in a way you will not believe. From property to mining to politicians. They're doing really serious stuff out here. So if you think the black politicians are bad, wait till I teach you about the white ghost in Zimbabwe next week. Guys, be safe out there. Love your kids. Love your family. Love yourselves, because I love you. And good night, everybody. Oh yeah, and I'm not paid to study because my message is